Hello and welcome to Murders, Monsters, Mysteries, and More. I am Brendan Caulfield, joined by Pretty Ricky Wildy, Jimmi V, and Alexia Nicole. And on this is Volume 4, Part A, which means we've had, by the way, I try to count these episodes. Tiger and the Wolf with Kobe, I number each episode. So I go, oh, we've done 22 episodes. Because I'm fucking dumb. And I'm doing it volume, number, part, and the first one was 4 parts. We're going back to the 4 parts now. And then the other ones are only 2 parts. I'm trying to count that, but also I didn't make a playlist. I tried to count it off of the library on my YouTube, so I would skip counting something. I haven't taken tallies since I was in elementary school. I have a notepad now with a bunch of tallies. And I'm just like, ugh. But yeah, you're watching this on YouTube, or because this will be Saturday, June 12th, if you're watching it on YouTube completely free. But if you're on the Patreon, if you're in the Mealtown Higher, like Jason Mitchell, Gimpy, and Uncle Bobby B, you could be able to be in the Brendone, which is a ripoff of the WWE Thunderdome, to enjoy the live chat, which includes Gimpy asks you, Pretty Ricky, why did you no-show Rex?
On my way to Rex's house, I stopped by our mutually agreed battlefield and was sidelined by my co-host and best friend, where we then spewed into a death match of sorts, probably 5-star, maybe 6. And then at the end of it, we realized that as great of a wrestling match as we do, we are better friends than that. And it's not worth endangering our lives to further the sport if it's going to jeopardize our friendship. So we hung out, got some Chuck's Roadhouse, and had a pretty good night. Rex was, I believe, at his house alone. I don't really remember. I wasn't there.
And where could they find this video if they wanted to watch this?
You can find the Blackballed Death Match on the YouTube Blackballed Podcast YouTube channel. It is currently being viewed, but soon to be taken off because a lot of copyright strikes are adding up, and I am getting sued by multiple people. So it's been a hell of a month.
Lawsuit Ricky. Lawsuit Ricky. On this show, we discuss different conspiracies, mostly because we went to the Maritimes about 3 years ago, and not 3 years ago, 2 years ago in September. It took me a second to be like, holy shit, was that 3 years ago? But we bought a little conspiracy book. It was like $8, and we now go through this, and these are not well detailed. Also, I'm going to read some facts on today's history. I'm not going to know these names. We are not professionals. We are barely enthusiasts, but we are literate. So, and starting today, Alexia Nicole, what? Am I wrong? We're not experts in this shit.
No, I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We are literate. I thought that was a good punch. Like someone out there has been saying we're illiterate and we're not great podcasters, but damn it, we're literate.
So, Alexia,
I can read goods.
So, Alexia, go first, and also talk about your shoulder, because I know a lot of people have asked about it, that you can actually talk to them.
Yeah, so okay, I'll start with that. I had surgery on Monday because if anyone knows anything about me, they know that my shoulder pops out a lot. So I finally got that fixed. Basically took a bone from one part of my shoulder and put it in another part to make sure it stays in place. Yeah, that was the problem.
It didn't have enough bones?
As it dislocated, it chipped off bone. So I needed to put more bone and then tighten up everything around it so that the problem was solved. So that's all taken care of. I am now at home in a sling with a huge ice pad. Can't move around much. It's great. That's me right now. If you would like to help me out because I can't go to work, you can go to my Big Cartel store, which I will promote later. My dogs are barking. That's fine. Okay. Now, for my conspiracy, this week it is a death of a dream. Martin Luther King was not murdered by a lone assassin, but by CIA mafia conspiracy to remove the most charismatic Black leader of his era.
Spicy.
Yeah. On April 4th, 1968, just a few weeks before a planned march on Washington, D.C., Martin Luther King was shot in the head by a sniper's bullet as he stood on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. Fingerprints on the murder weapon proved to be one of those small-time thief and a hustler of James Earl Ray, who was arrested in London 2 months later. After pleading guilty, he was sentenced to 99 years in jail. However, almost immediately afterward, he claimed his confession had been bogus, but he died in 1998 while still in prison. Here's what the theorists say. King was assassinated by a CIA/mafia hit squad acting on behalf of the military, the FBI, and the white establishment. Ray was framed for the murder in an elaborate operation and subsequent cover-up. By 1968, King's profile and influence terrified the authorities. The FBI believed he had links to the communists. Army intelligence, which had been watching him for years on account of his vocal opposition to the Vietnam War, feared that his upcoming march on Washington, D.C. was a pretext for a mass riot aimed at shutting down the government. On the day of his murder, a suspicious number of law enforcement and intelligence agents were in Memphis, yet inexplicably, okay, maybe I'm not literate either. Inexplicably, the FBI decided to withdraw its normally constant and intrusive surveillance of King, despite a number of well-known threats on his life. And like they were constantly, like they had wiretaps in all his rooms. They had taken videos they had put cameras in his hotel room. So they had like tons of video of him having sex with other women. Like they were just always tapping into his stuff. So 2 policemen were detailed to guard King, and one of them, a black officer he was Detective Ed Reddit, was mysteriously pulled out of position for a meeting with police and intelligence chiefs. Even more suspect was the evidence relating to Ray, the assassin. A man was fleeing the building opposite the Lorraine Motel and conspicuously dropping a bundle on the pavement. This parcel conveniently contained the murder weapon and some of Ray's personal items covered in his fingerprints, although his prints were not found in the room where the shot came from. Testimony was given at Ray's trial that not even a crack marksman and contortionist? I don't know what that word says. Like I said, maybe I'm not literate. Who knows?
Contortionist.
It is contortionist. Thank you.
Yep.
I don't think that's it, but we're going to go with that.
For the record, Ricky is not reading anything. He's just very confident.
It looks like it.
No, without a doubt, it's contortionist.
I don't think it is, but we're going to say it is. Could have fired and successfully assassinated King from the rooming house opposite. So basically, very hard for any normal person to shoot from as far away as he did and get him right in the face.
But using his contortionist powers.
Yes.
By
He was
contorting
able
himself
to-
at that angle and holding the gun outside of the window is what they're referring to. You
Yeah.
have to be a contortionist and a marksman. She's completely right. I'm not an idiot.
I'm stuck on contortionist and being shot in the face, and I've definitely seen this video multiple times.
I've seen contortionist shot in the face.
We're talking about porn, right?
Now we're getting crazy.
See, when I realized no one like fed off of like I'm referencing porn, I'm like,
So
Bobby, you didn't get it. Don't try to take credit for that.
basically, it's very hard for Ray to have actually shot him. And even though he said he was guilty and immediately said, no, that was a lie. So where was I? Where did I go? Here I am. Okay, so prior to the assassination, Ray had employed a series of Canadian. Oh my God, I can't speak today. He knew a bunch of people in Canada despite never being there. He himself claimed that he was forced into a false confession by his mafia-linked lawyer, and that he was set up by a man named Raul, who he thought was an arms dealer. So a subsequent investigation has suggested that a CIA
okay, I know that
agent,
one was subsequent.
Yes, subsequent. See, I can't talk today.
Are you on some painkillers at all?
No, I stopped taking them last week.
Okay, so we're not on the beginning of Dark Side Alexia Nicole.
No. I tried to not take them, and that's exactly why, actually.
This is your Heroes of Wrestling moment with Jake Roberts.
Exactly. Anyways, there was a CIA agent named Raul Miora who was on assignment in Canada around the time that this was all happening, and his specialty was fake identities. So he could have been this Raul that Ray knew and was dealing with at that time. So in short, small-time crook Ray was recruited by the CIA, shuttled around America until arriving in Memphis, where he was told to buy a rifle and put up in a boarding room. A Ray lookalike committed the murder and dropped the damning evidence in full view of the public. Ray was then helped to escape and later forced to take the rap. The official line is that Ray tried to weasel his way out of his sentence once he was convicted. In 2000, Attorney General Janet Reno opened a probe into the case, which concluded there was no credible evidence to back up the conspiracy claim. How paranoid should you be, though? What do you think? High, low?
I'm
Somewhere
going
in
to
the
go
middle?
high on this one. I'd say
Yeah.
90.
I think he did it.
75%.
Oh, I was going to
So-
say like late 70s. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
gonna say 75, 77.
Yeah, the evidence points to a frame-up. It seems Ray could not have been King's killer. Vital documents relating to the case remain classified, so expect to wait another 60 years to learn the truth. Yeah, I did a little bit of research. I didn't have time to do a ton, but like even MLK's kids, they think for sure that like Ray is not guilty. They think for sure that the FBI and CIA had something to do with it. There was a small like Memphis case that his wife had gone through with, and they found that the government was partially responsible for everything that had happened. So yeah, I mean, I think the CIA and the FBI have killed a lot of people and just kind of blamed it on other people. So it's not surprising.
I mean, it's the CIA's whole gimmick. They're a secret service for a reason.
Yeah, I'm willing to believe that this Ray guy had something to do with it. The same way that like everyone says the Lee Harvey Oswald couldn't have been the killer. But no, I think he was involved, and I think someone could have done that. So he was probably involved, but yeah, the government runs deep in on this one. This is clearly an issue where someone is preaching for everyone to be together, to get along, and to go forward together. So that guy has to be executed. That's just the course of nature.
Yeah, he was causing civil unrest.
Well, I mean, he was talking about civil unity, and that's just
yeah.
We're not going to do that.
But I mean, like, yeah. But he was causing an unrest against the government.
Yeah,
much like what was happening last summer.
I'm not even sure if it was necessarily an unrest as much as like he was trying to bring together communities. And I think that is the bubbling pot for people to turn against the government, but it's not quite there. Once everyone recognizes everyone's human, they realize, oh, we are being screwed, but it's not from each other. But I think ultimately that's what they were trying to solve.
Unrest of the government being like, hey, asshole, don't realize we're abusing you. It's the other place.
Yeah, I just wanted to be clear that MLK was not promoting that kind of thing.
No.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was like the riots that summer.
That's where it was going. I understand.
Yeah.
There's little facts in there, like when it said a cabal of like the CIA and the military and everything. I like that Jimmy's talking to his dog right now. That what's it called? There's all this cabal of. I didn't think the military actually like did anything. Like they like acted like for the military things, but they weren't like, hey, we don't like what this person's doing. Where it's like the CIA, the FBI, local task force. Yeah,
there's shadow operations in the military.
See, I thought they were
shadow militaries.
Yeah.
At some point, we're going to talk about shadow people.
Long day.
Like Men in Black?
No. Men in Black's a whole different one. And also, like, the real Men in Black, the possible time travelers. Like,
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, the real Men in Black.
Let's do a Men in Black watch along. And point out the factual inaccuracies.
The black kids.
You're pitching. Oh my! I think we're just talking about all the conspiracies and like weird things that involve something with black in there. But Ricky, you want to say watch along for Men in Black? If you join the Patreon, patreon.com/BrendanC, we now do a watch along movie night every other Saturday. Actually, when this is going up tonight, the plug just naturally comes out for this. We are watching The Raid Redemption, and it is it's for anyone for the meal tier higher. So any of you guys on the talent side of the Patreon can pop into it. But I think next week we're doing Men in Black.
If I can real quick just do something about The Raid Redemption, I want to say that one of my favorite songs of all time is Rock You Like a Hurricane by the Scorpions. And if that song was made by an American band who knew how cheesy it was, then it would suck. But that is such an authentic thing from somebody who's just not from the culture, and they're really trying to make a rock and roll song, and it bangs. The Raid Redemption is that interpretation of an American action movie. And if an American tried to make that action movie, it would be terrible. But because it's so authentic, not from the culture, trying to make an American movie, it is unbelievable. So very much sign up to Brendone's Patreon to check that movie out. That is craziness.
And I like the fact that one of the police officers' names was Detective Reddit, because a lot of people that they are detectives on Reddit. But it's also when you mentioned the whole there's too many authorities. I think that's one of those facts of there was always a lot of authorities, but this just happens to be the day that he gets assassinated, where people are looking at all the weird stuff, where there's so much stuff in life that just happens. You might notice it's a little peculiar, but nothing ends up happening, so you just ignore it. Where it's very much of very interesting, especially the contortionist discussion.
Oh yeah.
So it is June 12th that this is airing. Unfortunately, what happened on this day in 2016, the mass shooting at Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida, kills 49 people. In what is now thought to be one of the deadliest incidents of violence against the LGBTQ people in history, the shooting committed by 29-year-old Omar Mateen is also the second deadliest terrorist attack on U.S. soil since September 11th, 2001. Okay, well, I will at least say 49 versus 2 towers. Like, okay, there means there hasn't been a lot of domestic terrorist attacks with over 100 people. So, but like, once again, it is June, it is Pride Month. Be an ally. If it's not bothering you or affecting you, you shouldn't have an opinion.
I love the idea that we're going to scale national tragedies based on worst to best. That seems like a fun game. That sounds terribly offensive and might get us kicked off, but let's try that game. That is fun.
Well, it's just factual. That it's
no.
Oh
You're
God.
100% right. Numbers to numbers. There's no denying that. 9/11 was worse. 9/11 was worse than a lot of things. I agree.
No, I
but we can totally play that game.
When you're in like elementary school and there is a like some sort of donation, like, oh, we're trying to raise $500, or like a food bank donation of like cans and like that stuff, of like, you have that thermometer that you're coloring in red as it goes up and up.
Yeah.
And like, we do this where there is different thermometers, and it is, or it's like a needle where it's just blood, that the more dead bodies that are involved, it just gets bloodier and bloodier, and it's just radiant that way. But then at the end of the day,
it fills up with little bodies.
Oh God, they just fall in.
Hey, actually, so because we're gonna get into the plugs after the history thing. Jimmy, you want to make some weird animations this summer?
I might lose my career over that one.
All right, fans, you heard it. We're all getting canceled, and we're scaling national tragedies.
But also in 1994, the world's largest twin jet takes off on its maiden flight, the Boeing 777 or 777. I prefer Triple H. Typically transports up to 451 passengers. It is one of Boeing's commercially most successful planes. 451 isn't an even number. I don't know why that stood out to me, but just like 451. Everyone gets a co-passenger, and then there's one dude in the back like, oh, I get the emergency exit.
By himself eating peanuts.
I'd rather be that one person on the plane instead of having someone next to me, though.
No, you'll just have your water cooling device for your shoulder.
Yeah, I'll be in the seat next to me.
It gets window seat.
Yeah.
In 1991, Boris Yeltsin. I got so good with the first one of pronouncing that correctly.
Yeltsin?
Sure. Becomes Russia's first president. After the end of the Soviet Union, Yeltsin launched radical economic reforms that aimed at dismantling socialism and restoring capitalism. What's impressive about that? It's actually, no, we're even, because Gimpy, by the way, Gimpy has way more Gimpy merch than most wrestlers, unless they're a year in, and from the last 3 years, they have more merch than me. But he has a Gimpomania shirt on right now. But we're 3 for 3. 50% of us were born after Russia had a president. 50% of this Zoom call was born before Russia had a president. That's crazy.
Seen some stuff.
In 1987, Ronald Reagan challenges Mikhail. Oh, fuck.
Gorbachev?
Yep. But I saw the first name. And it looks like a female name that I didn't even get to fuck up the first one. But to tear down that wall. That I feel like
I watched that live on TV.
I feel like that was a very
I vividly remember that.
It was like a sample thing though. Like, I clearly didn't watch it live on TV, but I heard it a lot. Thank you, Bobby B, for the pronunciation there. Mikhail. That might not be it, but because I just see that hail now and I go, wait a minute, did I just get tricked? But it was sampled a lot in the 90s for different things, and just like,
oh yeah, it was a huge
Like,
moment.
it's on The Simpsons a few times.
I guess it kind of got outranked by 9/11. Never mind. That's what replaced it. Actually, going back to more traumatic
You
events.
can't rank those things, all right? Tearing down the Berlin Wall was a good thing. So
yeah, it was a fantastic thing.
It's definitely
for
better
the
than
world.
9/11. Like, that's not even a competition. You know, would you rather ice cream or 9/11? Like, ice cream,
Yeah.
of course.
I mean, it ended the Cold War.
Oh my gosh.
There's a cold serve joke there. I can't quite get it. Damn it.
Yeah. I tossed it. I was hoping you would find it.
The Cold War to Ricky and his like when you were like a little fat kid though is between fudgesicles and drumsticks.
I got Smarties ice cream in the freezer right now. That's a Cold War I'm still waging.
Dude, I got Oreo ice cream a month ago.
Yeah, I was gonna buy some Oreo ice cream earlier. It was too hot for me to walk there though.
I have Chips Ahoy ice cream actually.
Ice cream talk. Only on this show will you go from 9/11 to ice cream discussions
in the same paragraph.
I don't want people to read the transcript of this episode. Please don't. But also, in 1964, Nelson Mandela is sentenced to life in prison. The South African anti-apartheid activist spent 27 years in prison. In 1993, he received the Nobel Peace Prize, and 1 year later became president of South Africa. Now, that is a convict that turned his life around.
That's such a good interpretation of that story.
Yeah.
Man pulled himself up by his own bootstraps. Hardworking guy. The system works.
Births on this day in 1970. Oh shit! Okay, I'm hyped about this. I actually know this person. In 1971, on June 12th, American weightlifter, professional wrestler, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, was born.
Right on.
Oh,
Hey.
The Megan Boys booked Mark Henry on a Wednesday night, and I got to hear 3-6 Mafia play.
Bless
right.
you.
there's a mute button for that.
Came out of nowhere, man.
The best part is you've coughed on the mic already multiple times, and you talk.
Oh, did my mute not work?
No.
Oh,
Double guns to you, Jimmy.
Wait a minute.
wait.
We have a late breaking discussion. Bobby B.
Oh,
Did you?
Bobby, you got ice cream?
What do you got there?
You guys were talking about ice cream. I want some fucking ice cream too.
What do you got?
Salad.
Ben & Jerry's, half baked.
Ooh,
What is that?
that's good ice cream.
Vanilla and
Ice
chocolate
cream.
with cookie dough and brownie pieces.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
can you really go wrong with that?
Join the Patreon for ice cream talk.
their dairy-free ice creams are so good.
They are.
Oh my gosh. And yeah, we were on Mark Henry. Oh no, Ricky definitely went to go get his ice cream.
Man, I should have just got fucking Ben & Jerry's when I was out earlier. That's closer than the ice cream store.
The ice cream store. You mean like Baskin Robbins?
It's called Honey's. It's on Dundas.
Mm.
It's
Ricky,
delicious.
you're back. What props do you have?
I got called out of the room. Family emergency.
Oh no. Did they find the body?
My mom needs a coffee, so things got hectic.
In 1941, Roy Harper, English singer-songwriter, guitarist, poet, actor. In 1929, Anne Frank, German-Dutch author, Holocaust victim. I feel like those should have been the other way around. 1924, George H.W. Bush, American politician, 41st president of the United States.
Nerd.
On June 12, 1897, Anthony Eden, British politician, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. And for the more interesting part, who died June 12th? Well, in 2010, Al Williamson, an American illustrator. Do you know who that is, Jimmy?
Oh yeah, he's a big influence on me. One of the best inkers and one of the best sci-fi artists in the world. He's up there. Him and Frank Frazetta are like neck and neck for like best.
I'm going to do a podcast with you, Jimmy, and I'm going to have a segment called Influences. We're going to talk about drug influences and then people out in your life influences.
Yeah, Steve will be in a few of those.
In 1994, this isn't a real fucking name. A Russian-French rabbi by the name of Menachem Mendel Schneerson.
Nailed it.
Yeah,
In
first try.
In 1980, well, he's dead, so whatever. He's not going to get offended. In 1980, Billy Butlin, South African English businessman, founded Butlins. In 1963, Medgar Evans, an American civil rights activist, also died. And that wraps up for today. And what's actually good about this is we talked about assassinations. We talked about the government kind of being iffy. The next episode, Pretty Ricky, what are you going to talk about?
MK Ultra and the real Manchurian
Oh,
candidates.
yeah.
Come
It all comes together. It all
Fucking
comes
on. Pull the
juicy.
lucky number.
So quickly, starting with Jimmy and then Ricky and then Alexia, plug your stuff. And then also for anyone, this is the little cheat code of after this episode, all the other episodes are just going to have this same thing. Just copy and paste it at the end of the video. So Jimmy, Ricky, and then Alexia, give your plugs. And you all, besides like Ricky doing the podcast, you have stuff that you're actually selling. So please support them if you enjoy this. Jimmy, go ahead.
All right. I got my Instagram, art by Jimmy. I think it is. No, it's Jimmy_sketches. There's too many. Jimmy_sketches is my Instagram, which I update frequently. You can hit me up on there for my commissions, which I have a price list up now. And every now and then I have prints when I'm not lazy. You can also check out my art station, which is my actual portfolio, which is Jimmy Vandalay. And I think that's pretty much it for me. Yeah.
You are looking to do commissions. You can find a rough outline of what it will cost on your Instagram, which is great because most people it's messaged me for rates. You actually have given them a rough outline.
Yeah. Those are base rates. They can vary, but I mean, I'm bad at charging money. It's terrible. But yeah, you can hit me up on there. I'm booked till probably end of the month right now, but the sooner you let me know things, the sooner I can
Buy
pencil
ice
you
cream.
in. And buy ice cream and my dog food. That's
Ricky, where can they find you?
You can find me on all the social media sites at ProWildy, PROWILLDY. I also have a podcast called The Blackballed Podcast. You can find that on all your favorite podcast platforms at The Blackballed Podcast. We recently did a death match. You can check that out on YouTube, The Blackballed Death Match. And I'm currently promoting Hot Boy Summer. So, I'm wearing a headband. I'm wearing yellow glasses more than ever. I've been doing cardio in my underwear in the sunlight. So, get into it. It's Hot Boy Summer. We're having a good summer.
I am all about the Hot Boy Summer.
It's Hot Boy Summer.
Wax and vaxxed.
and vaxxed.
That snuck up on me. Not gonna lie. And Alexia, where can they find you and support you?
You can find me on Instagram at Alexia Nicole, on Twitter at It's Alexia Nicole. I have a Big Cartel store, so I believe the URL is Alexia Nicole Wrestler / bigcartel.com. I've got 8x10s, I've got shirts. I've also got a pro wrestling tee store, which is pwtees.com / bubblegum. If you see a shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees and you want to buy it directly from me, message me. I might have it in your size. Let me know. But yeah, those are all my things. I'm not working right now due to obvious reasons, but so if you could support, that'd be really great. Thank you.
I love that your Italian is in competition with your fucked up shoulder. So it feels like your right hand motions when you talk are exaggerated because your left arm doesn't. Your left arm's like, I want to move.
My left hand is literally like moving around as I talk, but like it's just on my lap. I can't do anything.
It's just like what was it? It from not Cousin It, but like the hand from the Addams Family.
Yeah.
Dang, that's it.
So is this like the Italian version of Bell's palsy? You can only talk out of like the one side.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, Ricky, did you think that this was going to be the podcast that gets you canceled, not blackballed?
Hey, I'll tell you an honest story. We talked about John Cena, China, and Taiwan last week on the podcast, and we've got like maybe an eighth of the views that we usually get. So I'm not saying that we don't put out a terrible product, because we also do, but I was really thinking that might have come across some search engines. So I think I'm in the process of being canceled. I don't know. But yeah,
Shadow canceled Pretty Ricky.
Legitimately. So you honestly might want to block out and mute when I say China and Taiwan so that it doesn't happen to your podcast. But yeah, that's something I experienced. So
saying China, Taiwan is they track that, you think?
I'm assuming they're not watching the actual hour-long podcast that I put out with the stupid crap we're saying. So I'm figuring out that there's some algorithm where they hear China and Taiwan go off in a sentence, and then they do. Like, I know for one of my favorite podcasts, if somebody says the N-word, it's a stand-up comedy podcast. Even if it's a black guy, it doesn't matter. It immediately gets pulled. And it's just because the algorithm dings off that it was said and it's pulled. So I assume that it was something similar, but like I've got no notifications about it. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and just like all the fans dropped out this week, but it feels strange.
And that was for China, Taiwan, not Taiwan, China.
I think it's either way, back or forth, but as long as you're saying China and Taiwan and it's, audibly heard, I think it upsets. Like, we also said that Taiwan was the country. So maybe that was the sentence that upset them.
Hey, on Wikipedia, it says it's a
combination.
country.
Sorry?
Yeah.
On Wikipedia, it said it was a country, but I like the fact that you're like, hey, maybe blur out every time I said this, and then you say it 45 more times.
Well, the time codes. You can cut this out. You're already doing some editing. I'm letting you know.
That's the bit.
Future reference for your podcast.
I like
say China, Taiwan.
I like the benefit of the doubt that not that the Blackballed podcast was only worth 1/8, or talking about John Cena, who's a wrestler on your podcast.
Kind of China, Taiwan.
I mean, like any of that could be true. Maybe the episode before was just god awful and we lost viewers. I very much believe that. But it does feel weird, the timing. So for your future podcasts, whatever.
Okay. Oh Lord. And you can find me at Holden Pro, Brendan Caulfield on things. But most importantly, patreon.com/BrendanC. For $7 a month, you get way too many podcasts. You also get a private Instagram group chat that is just going off all the time. If you think you're the weird one from your group, congratulations. I have collected all the weird ones from all the groups, and now that's just my group. It's all just the weird ones, and it is the best. Bobby B, Gimpy is in there. Gimpy is literally in a line at the LCBO right now. He just talked, but he's muted.
Hold on. Before you go, I need you to say this for me.
Oh, no.
Mikhail Gorbachev.
I plead the fifth. Have a good morning, good afternoon, a good evening, a good night. Just have fun, stay safe, stay healthy, and pursuing happiness.